Congratulations, you found the one station that plays Ghana's best urban music.
YFM.
Listen to YFM 107.9 Accra, 102.5 Kumasi, and 97.9 in Takoradi.
So today on the Y Leaderboard series, we celebrate the life and work of one of the youngest brains in the media, advertising, and digital industry in Ghana and across the continent. Now, his work experience spans media research, media strategy, planning, communications management, and business development. He has served as a general manager of Mediacom, the first independent media agency in Ghana, for 8 years, during which the agency witnessed very impressive business growth and client acquisition. He has 14 years industry experience and valuable media knowledge in Africa, especially across West Africa, supervising subsidiary businesses in Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin, and Zambia in the past. Now, his proven ability to foster and nurture relationships with both clients and media suppliers has accomplished several mutual successes. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics and geography from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, Ghana, and an MBA in marketing from the University of Ghana. He is also a council member of the Advertising Association of Ghana. Andrew Ackah is the CEO of Dentsu Ghana, yes, and is our guest today on the Y Leaderboard series. We are very, very appreciative of your time here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ecosia.
Awesome.
It's awesome coming on YFM, one of my favorite dials.
Yay! Why is here your favorite dial? Let's start with that.
because if I want to hear anything hot that drops, this is where I come to. I love your campus program.
Nice, Y Campus Express.
Which is great, and I think we've had a great relationship with you as an agency and vendor. So it's always awesome. To come here and have a conversation with you guys.
Awesome! It's awesome to have you here as well. What's the latest hot drop that you learned on YFM?
Must be Busta Rhyme, must be Busta Rhyme, must be Busta Rhyme. So that album, I mean, you could sense that emotional thing from me because it's been such a long time. And Za actually is my favorite from there. And I love what the body of work that Busta Rhyme has put into hip hop. And he's
legendary.
I mean, he's legendary. I mean, this guy can go from hip hop to raga to reggae to whatever. And he's done this for a long time. It's quite amazing that after all these years, he's like the LeBron James of rap music. He's still getting stronger, while he gets older.
Nice. I know what to get you for your birthday. Beats and Busta Rhymes vinyls. So guys, as you can hear, this is going to be a very interesting conversation, and we are not going to be having it alone. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up on our socials at Y1079FM. Do add the hashtag MMRS, and also you can WhatsApp on 020-2222-073. That's 020-222-073. So I guess we can get started now.
Sure.
And we want to start with your childhood. You're right. What are some of the highlights from that period? Your best memories of your childhood?
How do I start? Okay, so the first time I realized I was a human being, that I was alive, I think it was in secondary. I think it was a birthday party, one of those parties in my house. That was my first memory of life.
Of life.
So I grew up in secondary. I was born in Dunkornofing. Me and my siblings from my mom's side. I come from a very large family, like the family of 13. So I grew up in secondary. Then my dad got transferred to Cape Coast, so moved to Cape Coast for a while. And, from there it's been Kumasi, where I had my uni, and then to Accra and all of that. But, coming from a family of 13 is always quite interesting at home because, there's so much at home for 13 kids. At any point in time, we're like 9 in the house. So, that's when I learned my trades of trying to survive and compete, and also trying to grow the sense of influence, because you had to play politics in order to, and I was the youngest in the house, so I had to play politics to make sure that I'm in everyone's good books. So it was quite interesting. We had a blast when we were kids, everything from fighting to sharing jobs, to teasing each other. It was amazing. Secondary Takrady was for me is one of the places that when I go my heart beats, because it's almost like my my umbilical cord was actually severed there. So I feel that place. attended school there, Services Primary, Cape Coast, I did University Primary, and then from there I went to University JSS, and then from there I went to St. Augustine's College. For me, some of the highlights in my life had been when I went to St. Augustine's College.
Tell us about that. Tell us about your school days.
It's when you're growing up and you're kept at home and you're honed to be a good boy, always being straight, like you're a proper guy, and then you go to a school and all of a sudden these are all boys but different characters, and I was shocked. At primary school you're growing with people of like minds, right? But you go to secondary, you realize that you have people at the extreme, right? Behaviors were extreme, sense of understanding of the world were extreme. So for me, it was important to now understand each and everyone's, the path that you were taking, each and everyone's opinion. So it was a great time for me to listen and watch a lot, and to be able to imbibe whatever it was to grow me to become who I am. It's one of those highlights in my life that I wouldn't trade for anything. Going to that school, and our motto is Omnia Winked Labo, which means that perseverance conquers all.
Okay.
And ever since I had that, it's also been in my heart.
Perseverance conquers all.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
I had friends from St. Augustine's who told me scary horror stories. I want you to tell us.
KBB and all of that.
Is it true? Is it true?
No, they're all those things that they would use to scare you during homos night.
So you never saw anything the whole time there?
No, we never.
Not even once.
Once in a while, the bell decides to sound when there's nobody under it. So
scary.
No, it's one of those hooks, but it's it wasn't true, but it was amazing. For me, it was an eye opener, right? First time being in boarding school, being away from my parents, and you learn a lot. And trust me, also that's where the crossroads of who you want to become in the future. People took it to the extreme, and they went, sideways. Others took it quite seriously. Others had a hybrid, of, I want to be tough, I want to be strong, but I also want to follow my education and do all of it. So you tend to get a whole lot of people out there. For me, I knew where I was coming from. I knew that there weren't many hands that were going to take me to anywhere. Nobody was going to take me to go anywhere, to go school anywhere. So all I had was my head, and I focused on that. And all I had was also to build great friendship. I think it's very important in life to build great friendship while you're growing up, because they're the ones who are going to hold you up, later on in life. So it was amazing. It was an amazing experience there.
So would you say the friends, the people you met, are some of the connections you still have today in your work life?
Absolutely. Some of the friends that I made there, at St. Augustine's College, and my first degree at Kwame Nkrumah University Science and Technology, are still some of the fundamental friendships. So I made a various strata of friends, but the ones that you grow up with, the ones that you build that relationship with, you're not going to grow with every one of them, but those that you still have them around, who make you, they know you, they understand you, they know where you came from, so they're able to, you're able to connect with them a lot more. Of course, as you grow, you meet a whole lot of people, you build new friendship, even stronger than those that, but you need to keep those, because they are your fact checks, right? If others if new friends make you feel some type of way, they are the ones who will check you and let you know, I know you, I know your beginning, I know where you're coming from, so stay on the path. And it's great to keep them at the base, because it's important to help you grow.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I find that as I grow older, as my high school friends, as I feel closest to, who are allowed to fact check me. I get it. I want to know, what are your what were some interests you had as a child, right, that have pertained to today, to you sitting here today?
I think sports was one.
Okay.
I was terrible at football. Absolutely terrible. I mean, my left and my right legs were interchanged. It was. I couldn't play soccer. That's the thing. I couldn't play football. So I was out of that. But I took it to tennis when I think I was 12 years old, and I loved it. And I'm just telling my wife not too long ago that I feel quite renewed as a person physically, because I took to tennis again. I dropped tennis for a long time to play basketball, and then I took on other sports, swimming and all of this. So I think the sense of sports and teamwork has always been fundamental to me. The sense of always wanting to be good and feel good, and all of that has been also fundamental to me. But the critical thing is that, I told you, growing up and coming from a family of 13, you couldn't have all you wanted, right? And for me, that sense of inadequacy also pushed me. Because I really didn't understand why others would have something that I didn't have. I just didn't understand. But I could also appreciate that my parents couldn't afford all the excesses that I would need. So I think that sense of, one day I would get what I need, what I want, and I'm going to get what, I'll be able to afford it. That determination was there. Again, also seeing, some tragedies, in my own family and in my life as I'm growing, losing friends, losing brothers, and all of that also spurred me on, because you grow up feeling this burden on your shoulder that for those who left before you, they placed onto your shoulder, a purpose. So you have your own purpose, but you have the burden of others, to also fulfill. So that also gives me that sense of, of pursuit. Like, I need to keep working. I need to keep pushing. There's a lot that I have to do. There's a lot that I have to, birth, and live it all out here before the
transition.
old man, before the old man up there, calls me. So it's that sense of always wanting to fulfill is also in me, and it's been in me ever since I was a kid. Even now, I still feel like I feel like there's so much that I have to do. There's so much I have to do. There isn't time. That constant, reminder that I need to do something a lot more than what I have done already. It's my North Star.
How do you deal with that? That pressure, that there's still so much, the hours aren't enough. I had this plan. How do you deal with that?
Unfortunately, when I express it to some friends, they think that I'm not taking time to appreciate all my successes. But I tell them that I do appreciate it, but it's never been within me to appreciate myself, because anytime there's one success, I feel like there's a lot more that I haven't considered. There's a lot more to do, right? So it's not like I'm not grateful, but I feel like this is nothing. I feel there's a lot more that has to be done. And sometimes you can't explain it. It's just in your belly. It keeps boiling every day. There's that tingling feeling every day. So one thing comes and goes, and the next thing, once success is over, I'm looking for the next thing.
One.
Like I never brood on it. I never enjoyed the thought of that there was success. I want to move to the next one, because the next one is more important than the previous one. And I think that having that quest, there's an internal appreciation, but I move quickly from that to want to look at what is next, because what is next is more important than what we achieved yesterday. So that it's a fight you need to go through all the time, but I think it's fulfilling once you have a purpose to want to look forward to. It's quite fulfilling.
I love that you're saying that. Thank you. So you spent 4 years on KNUST campus reading economics and geography for your first degree. Can you share some of the highs and lows with us, and just how prepared you were for this phase in your life?
So I tell you this. So I read economics and geography during senior high school, and I always wanted to be an architect. Before that, every child will go through engineer, doctor. I went through all of that. But I think I settled on architecture. I wanted to be an architect. But when the results came, I did terribly in advanced mathematics. I love mathematics.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. Like, it was my worst grade ever. And entrance to architecture school was as tough as the medical school. So of course I didn't get it. So I had to continue with my economics and geography. But I think after second year, so I wanted to switch. But after second, I'm like, nah, I'm loving this economics thing. I'm loving this geography thing. It made a lot more sense to me. I'm not a science person. Like biology, chemistry, physics. I'm not that person. I'm more of human
interaction.
Interaction. I like the science of human behavior more than that. So I tend to love a lot more on the economic side, and it was great. I mean, it was 4 years. Fantastic, revelations.
What did you learn about the science of human behavior?
That, in economics you hold a lot of things constant, but funny thing is that nothing is constant.
Nothing is constant.
Human behavior is quite intriguing.
Yeah.
Right? And when you come to marketing, which is the field that I practice now, it's all about human behavior, but science can give you some predictive responses to how human will human beings who behave. But the same signs also fail sometimes. Just like, the U.S. Election prediction. It worked for others, it didn't work for others. So some campaigns do fail because the science wasn't good enough to support the success or the failure thereof of that campaign. But for me, the fact that I could learn something that I enjoyed, and I enjoyed it to the max. That also shaped my thinking. But finishing tech was also quite a header. What was I going to do with economics and geography? Do your masters. I was a teaching assistant in economics there, so my professor thought it would be great for me to go do my masters and all of that. But I thought otherwise because I wanted to be in the field. I wanted to work. I wanted to feel what it is like. I didn't want to be, like a desktop lecturer, go to school and sit in the classroom. I wanted to be in the field and experience what it was. So I decided, against all odds, against all advice, I decided no, I wasn't going to pursue academia. I wanted to come to the real world. I didn't have a job.
How was that?
Jeez, man.
How was that?
It was tough. I mean, after a while, maybe I screwed this up. Maybe I should have.
You have a lot of those feelings.
Yeah, I should have pursued academia. But it was still pursuing. Like if I tell you, I could just sitting here that I've been to every bank in Ghana with my CVs. I mean, people wouldn't look at me. I wrote emails to CMOs, to CEOs, looking for a job. Nobody would even look at me. That's the thing. So I'll tell you one funny thing. Now UMB, right, Merchant Bank, the CMO, I sent him an email. I'm like, I think you need me, and it was 3 exclamation marks, right? Because I was getting frustrated.
I think you need me. 3 exclamation marks.
3 exclamation marks. And I told you, look, I'm this and this, and I think I can do an amazing job in your business. I think that he looked at that audacity as like, no, come to my office. I went to the office and. It's like, a young man, what came to your mind when you were writing this email? It's like, I think you need me. I mean, that's the truth. All I had was here. I had nothing else to show. So on the second interview, so this is what happened on the second interview. I was coming through, they were now reconstructing the circle, not the interchange, but the road, right? And then I was sitting in a trotro, with my crisp shirt and tie and trousers, shiny shoes, holding my file. Going for an interview, and then this trotro just runs from somewhere and just splashes water on me. And my face, like everything like that. And instead, something dawned. Instead of being angry, I just took a taxi home, and then I soaked my stomach. My sister came back and was like, "What happened? You didn't go looking for a job." After a while, when you stay at home for 6 months, you don't have a job. Even the people who love you begin to question. You didn't go out, really? Gotta go out.
Hurry up, go.
I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me introduce you to this guy. Go see if you like the job and all of that. And he introduced me, and after a while, I'm like, what is this? What is this media thing? What's this? I don't understand all of this. And then everybody kept telling me, wait. When the campaign hits, you really appreciate it. And then campaign hit, and I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. Because it was challenging. I loved the adrenaline. And then I got to understand the science and the thinking behind why brands do what they do, why consumers do what they do, they do, why they behave what they behave, and how brands are able to meet consumers at their point of need and a point of choice, and how to shape their thinking and change their behavior towards a brand or towards a certain campaign that you're running. It was quite fulfilling, and it's been like that till now.
What project was that? What first job was that?
Yeah, so I was working on Guinness.
Okay.
I worked on Guinness for as long as I could remember when I was on the on the account management side, and it was I think that was the remnant of so my first job actually was Reggie Rackstone was the brand ambassador.
Okay.
And then we had when the father died, there were issues there, and the brand thought it was having a negative effect on Guinness Extra Smooth. So we had to do research. I had to go to Kumasi and research and find out what people think about that, which was quite interesting to see what people. I mean, the issues that we were thinking in Accra had nothing to do with the guys in Kumasi. They didn't even think about that. So it was quite interesting. But also being at the pub, and I think that apprenticeship is very important to people, young people who are listening. Apprenticeship is very important. Sitting in the bars and listening to people who are drunk, who will offer you a drink to get drunk with them, but to be able to glean from them and draw from them what they feel about the brand is quite important, because you're hearing from the horse's own mouth. And that research at the early stages of my career shaped my love for this, because now I could understand. I wouldn't wait for somebody to come and tell me this is how these guys behave. I was actually there, and I talked to them, and I spent some moment with them. So for me, that apprenticeship also shaped my thinking. And after that, where brands upon brands, campaign upon campaigns, and the more you grow, the more you learn, the more the world changes, the more technology changes and media changes and all of that. So it's been a good ride.
Nice. So go to those cocktails, guys. Dress up and go. And I feel like at those times is when people are also let down. They remove their guards.
Yes, I mean they'll tell you the truth. There's no way anyone who enjoys a brand will lie about how they feel about the brand.
I hear that.
So if you really want, the saying that if you want to know about hell, talk to those who've been there, right? So if you want to know how your consumers feel about your brand, you need to be on the ground. That's why if you look at marketing communication, apart from what we do above the line, your creative agency, media agency, and all of you have below the line guys who actually have the pulse of consumers, who go on the on the street, who do all these outdoor events, to make sure that they have the pulse of the consumer, they understand what they're going through, they get the first-hand information and feedback on what it is. That's very vital to any brand's development.
So my final question in this part is, I want to know, at what point did you identify your passion for media marketing? So I guess this is when you got this first job?
Yeah, no, so when I got the first job, I told you about architecture, and I'll come back to that.
Yes.
My mind thinks in a certain way, right? Everyone's mind thinks in a certain way, but for me, I like to see structure and form, right, in things. I like to see how things progress from one to the other, So I think that's what I wanted architecture for, because I wanted to be able to create and put it in a form that eventually you look at it aesthetically and functional wise, you would say this is it.
So the idea,
that is the mindset.
Formation into thoughts, into execution.
Yes. So when I started this, and I realized that for you to be able to build a brand, the core has to be about consumers, and for you to be able to connect with these consumers, you need to understand their lifestyle, what they do, what they like, how they consume media, and all of that. I begin to think, but this is the architecture that I wanted to do all this while.
Yeah.
This is the foundation, right? And this is how you build upon that. Yeah. And this is how you grow this. And this is how beautifully it would look like. This is how to put a campaign together. This is how you express your brand. This is how your brand should behave in this channel. This is how your brand should behave, within this category and all of this. So you build all of this. So I think that it is a mindset, that you have towards this. And for me, it came through some hard work, but because I think I had the natural foundation for it, I was able to, I was able to make that great connection between my own person and how I think and I go about my own self, and how I connected with the science of marketing and marketing communication. It was just, for me, it was just a great reunion.
Nice. And who was your inspiration as a young man?
So what changed? What changed my life was, we had to spend 2 years at home before we went to the uni, after senior high school, because we had to write
2 years.
2 years.
Okay.
Spent 2 years.
Wow.
Close to 2 years. So it was quite crazy.
Yeah, what do you do in 2 years while you're waiting?
Yeah. So. Just play basketball, wash car, pound for food in the evening, and sleep. Right?
Nice.
So one day, I never liked reading. I thought it was for girls. When I see any boy holding a novel, I'm like, "Are you a girl? Like, why would you want to read a book? Like, let's go out there and chill and drink a beer or something like that." But one day I was on the court, and all these guys were, after basketball, they were changing. But I'm like, "You guys, you're CCs. Like, what's all of this?" And so I'm like, give me a book, let me go read it. Okay. So I went home, took a shower, had my dinner, whatever, slept on my bed, started reading. I slept at 3 a.m.
Okay.
The book was I loved it, right?
Which book was this?
It was one of Sidney Sheldon's book, right? And, after that, I woke up in the morning. The first thing, without brushing my teeth, was to actually go to the book. So by the time I went to, I think it was 150 pages or so. By the time I went back to the court, I was done. I'm like, I'm done. And the guys are like, are you kidding? Nah, you're not done. And I'm like, okay, give me the bigger one. Give me the bigger one, you know. So I got into reading. The fascinating thing about reading, and again, one of the things that I tell people that read a lot, right? It would change your diction. But the most important thing is that it would change your imagination. You have the power to create your own imagination. If I read a book and you read a book, our conclusions will be different because you're of the power of your own imagination. It is to you, right? So you think and reason in a particular way, even though generically everybody is going to think that way. So for me, reading, I mean, I was shocked. The power of the imagination. You're the director of the book. I mean, you are the costume designer. You are the cast. I mean, if they say somebody is 6 feet tall and blonde, you imagine, you create the person in your head, right? What I create will be different from what you create, but it gives you the power of imagination. And for me, that actually opened up that whole space of my brain could do a lot more if I'm able to give it, you know, those juice. So I've read as many novels as you can think of, and I also kept a list. So for in order to improve my vocabulary, I kept a little book. That every phrase that I liked, right, from the good to the bad ones, I wrote them in. And I still have that book.
Of your good and bad phrases.
Yeah, good and bad phrases.
And it comes in your lingo, everyday lingo sometimes,
yes, right? Depending on who I'm speaking to.
Preach, Andrew, preach. Yo, I'm enjoying this power of imagination reading. I've never heard it like that, where, you know, when you read, you are your own director. You are the one creating. So it allows your imagination to go to places.
Haywire.
And that's powerful for work life. That's powerful for your own individual, you know, career.
It allows you to be in yourself, right? And see, when anyone tells you that you need to go into your own cave and you need to think, that's what it does. Reading is the only thing that you don't talk. You're patient and you listen. You listen by reading, you understand? So if you really want to, and your imagination is working all the time, if you want to get something, you know, and you want to use your brain, please be in the quiet and don't talk, right? Just be and focus and allow your imagination, you know, to keep writing.
Preach! Guys, we've got Andrew Ackah here of Dentsu Ghana. Please send your questions 020-2222-073, because if you leave me, all the things he's saying, Charlie, guys, will just be me here asking questions. So please send your questions on 020-222-073. And you can also hit us up on our socials at Y1079FM and hashtag MMRS. This message coming in just says, good morning. How are you this morning? Glad you're tuned in. Anyway, so we are going to be moving on to your family life. Right? Tell us the story of how you met your life partner and how did you convince her to spend the rest of her life with you?
Okay. That is also a story.
Let's talk about it.
That's a story. So my wife is Ivy Amado Mamenka. She's now Ackah. So the first time we met, I don't think we saw each other, but I didn't think we liked each other. Okay. Because
you didn't like each other.
I think just the mere fact that we never spoke so we're attending the same school for entrance examination to the university. Okay. We're in the same club, but we never spoke. But we had a lot of mutual friends. So you know that whole wedge thing, like you think you feel yourself, me try to feel myself. Let me date my side, you know. And then wrote an entrance examination. I thought that was it. So I'm in class one day, and funny, I was looking out for her at Tech, right? So I was like, maybe she went to Kivas or.
You were still looking out for her.
Yeah,
though,
because I was like, And then one day I'm in the class, and guess who walks in? I'm like, goodness God, I have to be in the same class with this lady for 4 years. You know, but she came in the class, we became friends, you know. But she's also the other version of who I am. She's a tough person, you know, very kind, very open, very frank. I told you about, fact checkers. I mean, she's my number one fact checker. Nice. on everything, and she aspires me to be who I want to be, and she never doubted me. I remember her telling me stuff like, you can actually walk to the president and let him do what you want him to do. And I was like, why is she seeing all of these? I don't even believe in myself like that. I need to feel myself like that, but why her?
She showed you other dimensions of yourself.
Yeah, of myself, which was real. She could see it. I couldn't see it then, and it was great. A lot of people also saw other stuff, but, for me, it's just her and her constant determination. We have 4 lovely kids.
Oh.
2 girls, 2 boys. Akosia, Nanefua, Kojo, and Atu.
Nice.
We decided we won't give any of our kids English names because I think our names are beautiful.
That's what's up.
The first is 12, the last is 4. Amazing kids, different characters, and it's great to. It reminds me of when I was a kid. We're different characters. I mean, but you look at all of them, you look at how they behave, and you're proud as a father. You're proud as a parent to to see your kids grow and give you back the love that you give to them. It's incredible.
At what point did you know that Ivy was going to be your life partner?
I mean, these things you don't really know at a point. It just is in continuum.
It just happens. It's a journey.
It's a journey. Friendship is important. So once we became friends, we built on that friendship. And for me, if I'm friends with people, I like you to be straightforward with me. Not antagonistic, but be open and frank with your feelings. Don't give me a lot of burden to think and imagine things that you can actually say, right? So for me, those are things that I was quite appreciative of. And I think that she also had quite a bold vision of how she saw the world.
Okay.
And every time she talked about how she saw the world, I was part of it.
Nice.
So for me, that made me feel like, okay, she's not thinking about just me. It's it's about us and what we can create. Nice. So it's a continuum. I don't know which particular moment, but at a point in time, you just begin to. And I was pretty young, when I got married. So.
Okay. How old were you?
By Ghanaian standards, I think I was 27 years
27.
old.
Oh yeah, by Ghanaian standards. That's very old.
Yeah, and look, a lot of my friends like, are you sure? Like, geez, man, you're not getting into your own. You just had your first car, Charlie. You're small,
And now you have 4 kids. Tell us about your children. You started to tell us, already they're all their individual characters.
Yeah.
What have they taught you about yourself? What other dimensions have they showed you about yourself?
For me, I mean the things. Okay, so Akosia she's a bookworm. She's she's smart, bookworm. She reads a lot, get a Harry Potter set.
Ooh,
and within a week, like, she's getting it done. So that's her, we call her PSC because she's the first and she feels she's the mother. Her love, and for me, her sense of duty, to grow and become, the leader of the siblings is great. Nanefua is, she's like the wise one amongst all of them.
Okay.
Very smart.
Okay.
Also quite a big heart, quite passionate about.
How old is she?
Nanefua is 10.
10. Okay.
Yeah, quite passionate and down to earth, but also quite feisty. On that, Kojo is, we call her, the mother thinks that he's going to be a doctor. So Kojo is very calm,
Okay.
Although he'll fight with the siblings when we are not around, but he's very calm.
When you're not around, that's when you
very
fight.
Calm. Always has a smile on the face, smart with the books, I'm trying to teach him kickboxing to get him a bit toughened up. Then Atu he's a southpaw, he's the last one. He is, I mean, he's like a combination of everybody else.
How old is he?
He's 4.
4,
and
okay.
He always opens everything, Dad, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm sorry. So you really can't do anything. Like, he numbs you, with stuff like that. And he's, but he's great. He's great.
So you do something naughty and come and,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
The first thing, I'm sorry, Dad.
You just can't do anything.
I'm sorry, Dad. I mean, you suck him 10 times. I'm sorry. But again, he also has this eclectic mind. He has a creative mind. He wants to put things aside. How many toy cars have been,
dismantled?
The couple in my house, you have no idea. So just last night, I realized that he actually picked the pen. He was drawing something in my shoe.
Oh, wow.
Yes, one of my favorite shoes. I've worn it just twice. I was getting furious, but I realized that he chose to write it inside of it than outside. Of it. So I went there and we spoke about it. He cried a bit, Of course, I scolded him a little bit verbally, but to let him know you don't touch this, right? So it's interesting that he knows that I can't write on the shoe. I can write inside the shoe, even though you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So he always has this, this thing with him, which is great.
And what have they taught you about yourself?
That, I think they're better kids than I was. I think that in this age of information everywhere, it's great to see your kids being. I think they're smarter now than when I was their age, which is great. Again, it's making me. Raising them is making me understand some of the flaws of parenting when I was growing up, and you grow to do exactly what you went through, right?
Yeah.
The pain and all of that.
Exactly.
So now they're teaching me. So when I get angry, I know that this is because of that, but I need to change. So it's that whole changing, but still be strict and be disciplined. Let them go through the path, and not give them an easy way out. But learning how to parent now by your own standard is what I think they're making me, and I'm going through that now. Now it's less shouting, it's more conversation.
Nice.
It's more, let's discuss. You have a voice in this house, express it.
Nice.
Sometimes there's a veto power coming from somewhere. You just need to appreciate it, because that's how life works. You won't have your way all the time.
Yes.
But it's just that whole process of changing to parent according to your standard is what I think they make, and you feel you're getting better all the time.
Love that.
You're being patient. You understand kids now. You know how it is. Like, how to pamper them. Allow them to let them talk about anything they're going through, whether it's a new relationship issues. I mean, 12 years old, you would have
relationship
when
issues.
I was 9 years, I had relationship issues. So I open it up. Let them be frank and open with you without you chastising them. For us, you couldn't even tell anyone you had a girlfriend, right?
Yeah,
they couldn't.
And your 12-year-old kid is now coming to give you relationship issues.
But you have to deal with it, because they will come to you.
Yep.
Will you be open, or you're going to be closed and say, I won't talk about it? You need to be open, because the world has changed. We moved on.
Yep.
So it's for me, it's the growth that I go through every single day that amazes me. That I'm able to be patient and grow, my character and my behavior to do that.
Love it. Love to hear it. So let's talk about more questions on your career, right? It is said that the first step is always the most difficult but important one. What was your first I think you've given us some information about what your first career move was after national service, right? And now reflecting on your journey, how important was that very first step to defining who you are sitting here today? Yeah,
so I mean, when you have a passion for something, you really don't care about the principle. You're just doing it. It's now that I can sit from hindsight and be able to after a while I understood that, but I'm a drink deep or taste not person, right?
Okay.
I came into marketing, communication, media, advertising without any understanding of marketing, right? I'd read economics and geography. So, and I hate to be inept, right? And I hate mediocrity. Like, it's with my gut, right? So, for me to understand something, I needed to know something. And for me to know something, I had to read. So I went to bookshops and bought all books in marketing. I started reading them like I was going to write the examination. And I started to pour myself into the job, right? And I really didn't care about my position. There's several, now in jobs, hey, I'm only supposed to do this, so I wouldn't do that. I did everything, including finance. I was with finance guys to help them go through their finance books to make sure that they're ready for reconciliation with the client. I never said no to any job. I wanted to do everything because I wanted to grow quickly. I wanted to be master of all, and nobody was going to put any impediment in my way. So I learned everything without asking to be paid that level of remuneration. Now it's different because people think that every position, remuneration is not a position. Your remuneration, I didn't say it is not that. Your remuneration is exponentially being built. If you show the character and if you show what you need to do, you meet that exponential remuneration in the future. But you need to pay your dues. I mean, you need to
pay your
sacrifice.
dues.
You need to pay your dues, and your dues is always, I have to earn 5,000, but I'm earning 2,500. Yes, but are you doing the work of 5,000? Hell yes. Go ahead.
So you should still do the work of 5,000, even if they're giving 2,000.
Because that is what you want. And one day your remuneration will meet you at that space.
And even more, right?
And even more. So just the young guys out there, look, pour everything into what you do, right? As long as you love it, even if you hate it, you need to earn salary out of it, right?
Yeah.
But you need to pour everything in it, and you need to learn. You need to. This quote from my professor at the business school, Professor Hinson. He says that, it's always stayed with me. It's like, you need to be brutally knowledgeable, right? So the two things,
brutally knowledgeable.
So the two things, if you want to pursue success, right? So you have the skill, right? The skill is the function or the principle of what you're doing. You need to learn that. I mean, there's no two ways. And then you need to have the character, right? For those who have the skill and they have the character are the ones who are most successful, right? So you need to be able to build both of them. People build the skill and they forget the character. And
how do you build character?
The character is something you need to learn, right? And
is it finding self?
It starts with finding self.
Okay.
You need to know who you are. You need to appreciate where you're coming from. All of your upbringing make you, they make you who you are. So you need to appreciate self and know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Now you need to play the strength and weakness according to how you want to achieve your goal. I'm not saying that you need to play on people, but you need to be able to understand how to influence, right? And that character is that when you walk into a place and people look at you without saying a word, that in itself says that you have an aura of attractiveness. You need to build that, right? When you're on the boardroom and you're speaking, the moment you say a word, people should be able to listen to you, right?
Yeah.
That you build over the time by observing and learning, mentoring, and going through the grind. Sometimes you feel, sometimes, several times I've been sacked from the client's office before. There's several times that I've received 1,001 stinkers for sending a harmless email.
And how do you come back?
Yeah, you still have to come back.
It's part of the character building. That's what you tell yourself.
I've fought some really big, big giants in the industry. Some not fought, but I've dealt with really tough people, right? And I think that was also part of the grind. They toughened me up. They made me know that there's a lot more to this. You're fine, gentleman, doing this and this. Is a lot more to life. You learn politics in there. What is politics? Just about how you distribute and influence resources, right? And
how you distribute and influence resources.
Yeah.
That's politics.
Yep. So you need to learn the politics of work and learn the politics on the client side of you and know who to pull at what in time to get stuff done. It's a constant, build. You don't know how you're able to form that character, but for me, I think reading was one. I read a lot of self-help books.
Okay.
My first book that opened my eye to the power of self was Norman Vincent Peale's book, The Power of Positive Thinking.
Okay.
First self-help book that I read.
Okay.
During my quarantine 2 years before uni. So for me, it's about reading.
So that was a building period. That was a powerful capacity building.
Look, I read everything.
Forging in the stone.
I read the Quran in English because my dad is a historian.
Nice.
So I read books on Aag, spiritual books.
Nice.
I read any book. I read history. I read everything.
It was everything. Not just one thing. Lovely.
Buddhism.
Cooking.
Buddhism, yes, the finding of the third eye, spiritual. So I read all these.
Now I want to know what your spirituality is like.
No, I'm a straight up 100% Catholic, and I love being a Catholic because I think it forms very well with my character and my spirituality and what I want to
do. Pursue.
So back to that, I read a whole lot of stuff, and I think it was the first time that I was like, Andrew, you can't be judgmental because the book you're reading is so pure that you cannot tell me that it only should come from a Christian point of view. So although I was a Christian and I still am, I appreciated what other people thought and the process they were going through. Of course, it didn't conform to mine, but I did appreciate the other side and what people thought or what they believed in, right? Even though it may be more grounded in my own beliefs, I'm still open to want to listen and appreciate what is on the other side. So I would advise that read a lot more. All these things help to shape you, but observe a lot. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. There are times that you come back to the office and you feel like crap, right? Because you've been beaten down by the client. You felt like this. The client can make you feel like you are nothing, right? But that is when you sleep it over. You wake up the next day and say, you know what, I'm going to nail this. And anytime you have that attitude, rather than sucking in too much, you know that your third attempt is going to be, it's going to be better, and you're going to nail it. Yeah.
So just running through some lessons I've learned at this time. One, the power of imagination, how it pushes to other dimensions when you read. Two, pursue, determination. That was a quote from your school.
Yeah.
What was the exact quote?
Perseverance conquers all.
Perseverance conquers all.
Yeah.
And then I'm also learning, let your kids talk to you about their relationship issues.
Let them talk to you.
Let them talk to you.
It's amazing. I've had a couple of those. Trust me, I've had a couple of those.
Nice.
And it was interesting. Like I almost got a fit.
Oh, wow.
Right? And okay, so I hope Akusa is not listening. So one day is like, can I tell you something that is like, what is like a deep sign? Like, there's somebody in my class I can't stop thinking about. And I'm like, oh man, Andrew, this is the start.
What does Daddy do?
You know, I was perspiring. You know, like everywhere. Like this has come so soon. Yeah, this is so
too soon for me. No, too soon.
Like I never thought I would be here. Like you know, sometimes you know, you need to pinch yourself. Like you're a father. Like you know what that means. You know, although I feel 31, and you know, I feel strong. You know, sometimes you look at me like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oof, powerful. And I think the final lesson at this point is the power of the incubation period.
Yes.
You know, that 2 years you had at home. I feel like that was a cooking of use. After when you came out, it was like...
Man, when I went to uni, I was unstoppable. Like, you couldn't stop me. I was so brave. I was confident. I was fearless. You know, I could just about do anything. Because I've been told over and over and again, and I've seen, you know, I've seen the results of that in novels and in other books. So I was just fearless.
Yeah.
And I really didn't let anyone calm me down or put me down or told me I couldn't do anything. I mean, you can't. I abhor negativity, although it serves as a check for me. But I abhor negativity, you know. So the more you say I can't do something, the more I want to prove to you that I'm able to do it.
I love that energy.
Yeah.
Love that energy. So let's talk about the big step in your career as CEO of Dentsu Ghana.
Yeah.
How smooth was this transition, especially being another advertising group, and what prepared you for the role?
Yeah, so I started working at MediaCom 2005 January. Okay. So I'm actually in my 16th year.
Okay.
Of this. So I mean, you know, I've told you half of the story.
Yeah.
And we're affiliated to, you know, to WPP, you know, the fine advertising group, and all of that. But I mean, they've been trying to buy the business, and other suitors were there, and I think Dentsu were a bit more aggressive, and because they loved our business, they loved what we had created, and under the chairmanship of Mr. T, Togbo Mensah. Now let me drop this.
Okay.
Everyone who wants to succeed needs to have a mentor. You need to have a teacher. You need to have somebody who's got your back and who would tell it to your face, but also give you the mojo every day to go out there and fight. My person was Mr. T, Togbo Mensah, who has been my chairman all these years, and he's a friend, he's a brother, he's a father. He's one person that, you know, I tip my hat for. I give it to him every day, you know. So he had helped us to build our business to a point that when Dentsu came, they loved the numbers, they loved what it was, they loved the leadership culture that, you know, we had built over the years. So they found it attractive. So they bought MediaCom, now Visium, and then they purchased Adams Media, which became Accra. And then after that, we created 2 more businesses. There's a lot more in the pipeline coming through. But the transition was pretty 2 years, you know, to do due diligence. And for me, that is when, again, you know, you always need to learn. Every time you need to elevate, right? When they came to acquire the business, that was when I really understood the science of why you have to keep your business the way you have to, why you have to keep your books right, why you need to make sure that you're making the right choices, why procedure in business administration is very important. Like, all these things came to bear, you know. So I learned quite a bit through the acquisition process. And after that, I think the change management was also a bit of a shocker, right? Because when we're here, we used to enjoy this and this and this. If we're here, yes, although I'm enjoying more, but I still want A, B, C, D. And I think we could have done a lot more with the whole change management, but I think we learned our lessons throughout the process. And you know, HQ is in South Africa, but we are 100% Ghanaian run business leadership, CEO. Other markets, you have other experts going in there, but you know, I think for us, we are, you know, we're proving that we're able to run our business, and we've done that. And my team, amazing team, amazing, fantastic team, right? and I love them to bits. I mean, the way we've gone through this journey with them, their patience, the understanding, and the energy that they pour out into the sacrifices. I mean, there's no way you can qualify the value that each and every one bring to the team every day. And I mean, they make the job so interesting, and they make you want to wake up every morning and go, because there's somebody in there who would be able to carry the team each year. And it's an amazing team that I have.
Tell us about the business of Dentsu Ghana.
Yeah. So we are marketing communications group. So it's a group, right? And you have several businesses in there. So you have Accra, you have Visum, you have iProspect, you have Pusiscope. We're going through a transition now. That's why I told you the name is not Dentsu Aegis Network. It used to be Dentsu Aegis Network. Now just Dentsu Ghana, because globally we're trying to have one unified proposition for a brand. So So I'll break it down. In marketing communication, you have what you call above the line and below the line, right? So above the line are the things that you do the things that you do without necessarily having contact with your consumers, if I must say. I mean, I know that's quite a loose definition, but you have your creative development. So if a brand, that's above that. So you have your creative development, you have media, you have PR, you have all of that. All those are above the line, meaning that market, right? So it's above the market. The market is actually going down, and below the line will be, like your POS, your events, your all of that, because you're in touch, with consumers. So if you look at that, for now we play a lot more above the line. Our strength is more into media strategy and thinking, planning, brand development, and all of that. Because there's quite a bit out there, even above the line, below the line. So we have some amazing affiliation with Incel Communication. We had affiliation a couple of years ago. We've done some amazing stuff together, won incredible awards together. And below the line, we have affiliation, because again, that wasn't our core with BTL Africa. And again, they're part of all of that. So we fill those gaps pretty well. But what we do, so I try and break it down, right? So every brand stands for something, right? And every brand wants to grow. And every brand wants to convince other people who are using a different brand to want to come and use that brand. So that is the problem of every brand that you find anywhere else. So they usually put up a year plan, and they put something that called a brief. So the brief says that this is where I am, this is where I want to go. I want to grow by this is how my people think about me. This, you go through all that process, and then what we do is that we take that brief, we tear it apart, we interrogate it. We use data to check it to make sure that the brief is right. Once the brief is right, we dig deeper into data to understand the behavior of the consumers. Like I told you, their lifestyle, how they consume media, what are their digital touch points. So even if they say they like using mobile phone, what do they like to use the mobile phone for? They like to be on social media, which one? Twitter, Instagram, or what? So we go through that data, that granular data, and it takes quite a bit of time, because when you do that, what you're deriving is what we call insight, right? And insight is what you use to drive your strategy. That says that this year we are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is how we are going to spend our budget. And, it's a whole science on its own. But simply that.
So you pull out the insights from their
data,
analysis, from their data.
No, from their brief and whatever data they have, market information. Then we take our own data and any other data we have somewhere else, and then we mash the two together, and we draw what we call insight. So insight is like your aha moment. So that is why every university lady of 60 years behave like this. That is an insight, and that aha moment is what you use to drive your strategy. It becomes the foundational pillars for you building a very strong strategy, which would give you that winning advantage over competition. So we go through. It's a thinking process. It's not. People say advertising, but all you do is just for us to put any advertising on this program, we need to understand who is. So we have data on who's listening. Who's listening? Who listened?
So my listeners more than me right now.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you exactly how many people listened to you yesterday. If yesterday you had a program, I can tell you that we have that data.
Wow.
Yeah. So we crunch all that data, and we're able to tell you that this is the best way to advertise. That is on the broad strokes, and then on the channel stroke, we can tell you we put X amount on TV, X amount on radio. On radio, be on this and this and this, and not that. Even on YFM, put it only on here and not here. Because places that you place advertising,
Yeah.
you're just going to waste your money.
Yeah.
You know, so we go through all that process to make sure that we are being efficient with the client's budget, and we're also delivering the right media goals for the client.
I have a lot of questions to ask you, but those ones are off air. I need to check my
Be my
job, whether
guest.
I'm doing my job well. You know, I want to ask right now about what were some of the adjustments and sacrifices you needed to make in order to succeed as your new role as CEO. You know, and any individual, either friends or family, who helped you find your feet.
So I would say that it's sometimes is not when you're put on a pedestal as a leader. I hate using words like that. I don't like pedestal and high and
Leader.
you know, you understand.
What's your discomfort with pedestal
Yeah,
and
because
leadership?
it puts you way high, right? And it makes you feel like if you're on a pedestal, you're actually looking down. And for me, that's not my thinking about leadership. I think you don't need to be high there.
Okay.
And I'm sure I'm a better person, not because of me. Trust me, it's because of people I work with, right? Because I can only go so far with my own behavior and my character, and if it is in sync with them and they like it, then they give you the support.
Yeah.
If you support them and they appreciate you, then they give you the support, right? So I think it's more of them. I just gave who I was to them, and then they gave back to me, you know, what that meant to them and what that made them become, right? So for me, it's more. I give to my team. Amazing, incredible team. They're quite patient. I told you that changeover was not easy, because everyone had their own perception and the culture was different, you know, and we're getting into, it's a global business listed on Tokyo Stock Exchange, so everything had to go by the books. It wasn't easy, right?
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, together we've been able to ride this journey this well. We're 5 years this year when Dentsu came into our business, and I know this next 5 years is going to be amazing journey. So for me, one, my team; two, I told you about mentorship. You know, you still need to have that anchor. Sometimes you have number one who is there. Like for me, it would be Mr. T, but I also have others who once in a while, you know, I go for bits and tidbits of advice. Hey, can you help me out here? You never should be, as a leader, you never should be afraid to go for people for counsel, right?
Okay. The
people who think they have arrived, I still go for counseling, and I still listen to people. When I'm wrong, I still listen. You know, so you need to go have that constant renewal of wanting to learn and wanting to talk to people who have been on the path that you are journeying on, so they can help you go through that. People, you know, I think my spirituality has also been one.
Okay.
I'm more positive focused and positive energy driven than negativity. So anything that is negative that affects here, I try to stay away from it, because it doesn't help me. I mean, because of how I think, and I can't be that person. I don't want a lot of, you know, negative energy around. So once I sense that, I try to curtail that, just so that I can have my peace, because my peace is important for me to deliver. And be a better person.
That's a source of the incubation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so far, listening to you, I feel like another thing you haven't mentioned, you have a very strong need and desire to keep your ego controlled, because you actually know all the amazing things you can do, you know,
I'm a tourist, I'm
tridimensionally.
I'm a bull.
You know,
I'm a bull,
and so you keep people around you, you keep thoughts, things around you that constantly just keep you in a place of control this ego. Let me finish all the things I have to do.
And it's interesting you're saying this, because being temperamental was part of my growing up. It was a family thing. My dad was pretty temperamental, so I grew up also being quite egotistic, or egoistic.
Egotistic, yeah.
Or
egoistic,
both, right?
or
One
both,
is saying, one is doing, right?
Yeah.
So both, but I think patience is also quite is an important thing that you use to measure up that. So I know some of my friends say I'm quite temperamental, I'm quite controversial because of that part of me, right? But as you grow, you also begin to learn, right? And you make things better, and you do less of the things that are repulsive and more of the things that attract people. So listen a lot more, argue less if you can. I love to debate and argue, so all my friends know that. But I think the important thing is that you always need to show love. You always need to show love, no hate. You always need to show love.
I hear that.
You can disagree with people.
I hear
you
that.
may not agree, but the people who take things a little too emotional, and I don't belong to that school of thought, right? We can disagree, but we don't need to burn energy trying to figure things out. It's so much energy. Not burn bridges. Sometimes like I can't sit and spend my valuable time to think what you are thinking in your head. Like it has no value to me, right? But people put themselves in a situation where they want you to always be thinking. I don't have time for that, to be honest with you. I mean,
and you did this because
close to 80 people at the office. I mean, they need to break bread. We need to work. I ain't got time for that. I got to work.
And he did this to me, give me this, so that means this. I hear that. I hear that. Okay, so I want to ask about the digital media landscape. What are the prospects of digital media in the emerging African markets? And what must we do you think, to position ourselves as a country to reap the full benefits? Yeah,
I mean, the digital space is quite... is amorphous, if I would say so.
Okay.
But fortunately, there are markets who've gone through that, so we can learn from that market. The first thing to note is that we don't own any of those big tech companies.
Okay.
From your Google to Facebook to Amazon, we don't own none of these guys. And they own all the data which is on their platform. We don't own anything. So we are actually fighting against the waves now, right? So we don't have ownership in that space. This is the first thing to note. The second thing is that they also quite, the Western world is quite advanced. So in our market, they spend about 75% of their budget on digital advertising, because everybody's on their phone now. I mean, it's gone beyond a cliche. It's gone beyond a fact of life. It is us, right? We spend a lot of time on our phone, so it then presupposes that you need a lot. If you spend a lot more time on your phone, I need to connect with you here to tell you about my brand, all right? So digital advertising is going to grow. Unfortunately, if you look at our landscape in Ghana now, you're talking about less than 5% of the total advertising budget goes into digital. I mean, these are the facts.
Even though on the ground, more people are on their phones, and that's where you can communicate.
You talk about close to, on average, you talk 4.5 hours in a day on your phone, on the average heavy users.
Okay.
So it begs the question, right? And for me, this is my deduction. Agencies would have to put a lot more energy and tech and resources in building digital capabilities to be able to present ideas and strategies to client, for client to try them out, right? And I also think that clients themselves should also invest a lot in digital capabilities, because usually at a certain level you need somebody has to be in that boardroom. I won't be in that boardroom, right? Somebody's boss would have to be in that boardroom. You need to have the right capability to advise you, because for a lot of clients, what they think about, hey, open a Facebook page, open an IG page, open a Twitter handle. That is not digital marketing in itself. That is managing conversation and engagement on social media. There's a whole lot of creativity that comes out of that. But it also means that you need to put budget behind brands, so that you can have massive digital output, for the brand. And I think it's something that I'm quite inspired by what some brands are doing online, and it's a testament that is going to grow. So we anticipate a lot of clients spending their money on digital, and they're going to see a lot of creativity coming out of that space.
Okay.
And a lot of collaboration, between agencies and clients when it comes to digital output.
Awesome. So, listeners, if you just tuned in, this is Andrew Ackah, CEO of Dentsu Ghana, and we're here talking a lot of interesting things. And we are going to be moving on to. I know there's a lot of questions, but I'm sorry, you're just too much of a lined mine of information. You know, we got to soak you in before we let you go. So, I want to ask, from where you sit, right? Where would you rank Ghana amongst its neighbors and across Africa in terms of advancement in the digital marketing space?
I mean, the first thing is that we don't have data, and the reason I tell you is that you see the big tech guys would want to invest in a space where there's a lot of budget and a lot of digital activity. So Google only decided to actually get onto the ground and be able to, you know, provide real. I'm not talking Google Analytics. That's just on the face value. If you want deeper analytics, you need to set it up proper, because the AI would have to be set it up in a way, but the spend would have to be commensurate to the amount of investment that they make. So Nigeria, they now have that. Google has made that investment there. You know, like in Kenya and South Africa. Ghana, we don't have, because we are not even spending a lot on digital. So Google is not willing to come. So one, we need to get all that data. So I don't have that information. I may not be able to share. But it's interesting that most of my travels have been within Africa. Most of my travels, and you know, it's Africa is beautiful. I could say Africa is beautiful. I don't know why we still waste our time traveling elsewhere. Africa is beautiful.
I hear that.
And you need to spend a lot of time to do that. And anytime you go to some African country, you come and you feel like Ghana is on the right path. We need to do a lot more.
Facts.
But there are places you come back and it feels like you're in Heathrow, right?
I know what you mean. I know.
You know, but all in all, it's a beautiful continent. I urge everyone, please don't. You know, it's great to go out there to Europe and all of that. That's fine. You've done enough of that. Please spend time and you know, and travel within Africa. You know, Eastern Africa is beautiful. Southern is amazing. West Africa, incredible. So just spend time and travel within Africa. It's an amazing continent. We don't know what we have until you begin to, you know, travel these lands.
Yeah. In your travels, right, what would you say is a known thing of Southern Africa? What's a known thing of Western Africa? What's a known thing of, you know, what would you say are things you, as soon as you think Southern Africa, as soon as you think Western Africa? Okay,
there's some things I plead the fifth, so I wouldn't say, but you know, I mean, they all have different feels. For me, like, you want to have great party times, go to Nairobi, go to Joburg. I mean, this is like yeah, man, it's party after party. You know, it's like non-stop.
Nice.
You know, South Africa is very interesting because, you know, in our job we're quite multicultural, multi-ethnic. So you have black, white in there. You know, but when I speak to my black South Africans, you know, there's still quite a lot of pain, still quite a lot of healing to be done, because they still feel they're unable to access that promise of them, you know, making it in their country. So there's quite a bit of frustration in there, but I'm pretty certain that they work it through. It's a beautiful country. You know, sometimes it's unfortunate the kind of things that you hear about South Africa, but it's an amazing country. I love it. East Africa, free flowing. You know, Kenya is like Ghana on steroids, right? So you get the whole Ghana feel, the easy to connect and all of that, but you know, they're a bit more I wouldn't say aggressive, because that we have to save that for Nigeria, my Naija people. You know, and Nigeria is amazing. In fact, the first time I was flying to Lagos, I have family there, but I was a bit skeptical. I'm like, no, I don't like to go to, you know. But I wonder, but this is beautiful. There's nothing, all this brouhaha about, Lagos and all these, it's an amazing city.
Yeah.
Amazing city.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, when West African men step out of West Africa, we are recognized everywhere.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
By our style, by our style, by our demeanor.
Okay.
By our style, by our demeanor.
Okay.
The sort of respect that we have for women, you can't find it everywhere.
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot.
The
Ugandan women like you guys.
Who guys? Sorry?
Ugandan.
I told you somebody will clean the first, right? So no, but the West African steps out there, and they know you. But when they talk to you, they can tell you.
Yeah.
Are you first? They will say, "Are you from Nigeria?" And then you say, "Give me another guess from West Side." Then they say Ghana. Right. So, I mean, we have good reputation as men, as gentlemen.
Awesome. Yay.
Who know how to be open and respectful to the others and to other people's opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that we have a swag that it can only come from West Africa. Trust me.
Only West Africa, only the fufu and banku and the pepper.
And the pepper seed.
Yes. Okay, so I wanna ask, what is your style of leadership? Would you say?
Is there a style of leadership that I would? For me, I think it's an open conversation. I like to be open and let people understand what I go through. Let people know the demands on me, so that they can help me carry those demands. Because you see, I can be I'm a gatekeeper, but I have a lot of gatekeepers, right? If I don't invite you at my gate to understand what the force of energy which is at the back of my gate, you cannot go and help me to be able to build a resistance to that wall. So for me, it's about opening yourself up and let people know this is what I go through. How can you help me? Then in helping me, how can I help you to help me? You understand? So it's a cycle. And I think that openness and that having that open door policy, that you can come in and interrogate. Anybody in our business can wake up and interrogate anything with their own finance, because it's an open book. You know your KPI based on your finance. As the month is going, whether you're achieving or not. So we don't have these. Some company people are thinking, hey, the company made so much money and we don't even get bonus. For us, you determine your bonus as you're going. So as the years go, if you are not doing it, Charlie, we are not doing it. So this year, Charlie, let's put our hands in our demrifier and let's sit there. But if you're also achieving, you can see that we are all achieving. So is that having that frank, open conversation? Because that is the fight. Once they do what they have to do and we locked it in our budget, it is for me to go fight for them. And that is what I do all the time. And once I do that, I think that they know that I have their back. So why is it that they would also not, do what they have to do?
Love that. So you are the executive member of the Advertising Association of Ghana, the AAG. Sorry, what is your role as executive member?
Yeah, so it's an executive member you're supposed to steer the affairs of it's like a board, right?
Okay.
For the association.
Okay.
And our mandate is actually to make sure that we're driving the interests of members and the several interests that we have through our executive director, Mr. Francis Dazi. The president coincidentally happened to Mr. Togbo Mensah. So our job is pretty simple. We go for meetings and we try to drive the affairs of the association. The biggest mandate that we have now is to make sure that we have an advertising bill.
Okay.
So it's an association, so we are not bound by law. It has to. So we put together an advertising bill. We've been pushing this for long.
Okay. What's the bill?
So the bill is actually going to, I'm sure you see some advertising, they'll be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Because there's no law that guides them. Up to now, in this country, there's no law that guides any sort of advertising.
Oh, really?
The only law, there's a law that FDA, but FDA can only deal with food and drugs. Everything else, FDA can't touch if it's not about food and drugs, right? So that law is helping FDA to bring some sanity in the system, which is great. But we need a holistic law, because Food and Drug Board, their mandate really is not advertising. Their mandate is to make sure that food and drugs are wholesome and edible, and then we're being protected by that. So that is not their core mandate. So we're trying to promote this bill, which will be able to guide the entire industry. And it's going to start from who is even a marketer your certification, all of that, ownership of that, ownership of, and we need to promote indigenous ownership of advertising businesses and all this.
I love that. Indigenous ownership. I love that.
Of advertising businesses. So Nigeria is working amazingly well for them. And so they have control over what comes in, but unfortunately we don't have the law, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of advertising you see and it'll be like, this can't be right. You know for sure there's false claims. This can't be right. You can't even advertise like that, and because of that, people are also messing up the practitioner. I mean, there are professionals who've gone to school who understand the principle, right? And there are those. Not to say that if you haven't attended school, you cannot be a good film director or an art director or a designer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are those who understand the principle and they're working with the principle, and there are those who flout the principles and bootleg whatever it is and use use a phone camera to put a terrible creativity out there. What people don't understand is that advertising is creativity. It's not putting information on camera. It is creativity, because you see, the human brain understands, that's what I'm saying. You need to understand, you need to learn, because for me to sit up and watch your advert, you must hit me with something that I like, right? But these guys may not know, so all they do is they pick a camera, and just put people on video, and then it's an advertising and you're running it, right? A lot of brands are wasting their money that way. They're wasting their money because you're not getting the sort of response that you want from, or you're getting infamous rather than actually pursuing the path of growth, for your brand. So all of this will be addressed in there, but we are pushing for it. Every time we push for it, Parliament goes on recess and election year, and when we come back and all of that. But I think our past president, who's Joel Nete, who's the current, and which is a massive advantage for Ghana, the current world president for International Association, International Advertising Association, which is big, is a big deal. I met the president recently, and he tried to help influence the passing of this bill, because what it will do is that it will bring sanity in our market. I'll give you one example. Have you really appreciated the filthiness of billboard advertising in Accra? I mean, look out here. This is not right. You won't find it in any.
It shouldn't all be in one place.
No, but this is filth right from the corner, right?
Stretching all the way.
Do I see where I film on the billboard? No. Okay, let me see. Right from this corner, right? But this is not, the science of billboard advertising doesn't state that you need to have so many advertising billboards here.
Place.
Who do you want the consumer to look at? You understand? So if your board is here, it get passed on because I'm tired of looking, but you're paying big money for that.
And then the people you're trying to attract are seen at a cluster.
Yeah, so if there's a cluster, I don't see anything. Because all I see is noise, right? So there's a science behind that, and all these things will be addressed. I don't think you've taken time to understand our city is filthy with billboards. The filth that billboards and
I know.
It's unbelievable.
And when you drive, there are certain times where the lights.
So one of our companies, Postoscope, did an outdoor audit, right? And it's incredible that only 30% of the billboards in Accra, only 30% are known owners. The other 70% we don't know who own them. We don't know, because you're supposed to mark your billboard. So when you see Gerofix, when you see DDP, when you see Alliance, when you see Global, you see they write their names there. 70% of those boards don't have names. So who owns them? We don't know. 70%. And they are.
That's a majority. Wow.
If you're to know the amount of billboards only in Accra, Tema, it will blow your mind.
Wow.
Right. Springtex is the most densely populated billboard area.
Oh gosh.
And it's
too much noise there.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And everyone has to put in the effort to make sure we clean the city. So the metropolitan authorities have a lot of work to do, and that's why we want the bill to be there, so that at least we have a locus.
Okay, I foresee some challenges. The people who are in the 70% who, I don't know what reasons, but it's if this regulation comes in, how easy is it going to be to get a billboard advertised?
I mean, so you always have to use a principle when you're cleaning out.
Okay.
Right? That first in, last out. So if I was there and you put your board behind, you have to go, or you just do a random. There's several ways of going about it. But the thing is that we need to clean our city of billboards. Some of those billboards, I can tell you on authority, about a third of them or more were not approved for. Because there's a engineering that you need to do. Because you see a lot of billboard being tilted. The material they use are rusting and they are dripping, and you understand, like it's there's a lot of chaos in that and that's what the association has been fighting for all these years, to make sure that we clean the system, we clean the city. And we've done a lot of talking and fighting with the authorities. We seem to be getting somewhere else, but this is the evidence. If it's still as filthy as it is, then it means that we still have a lot of work to do. So we need this bill to come in place to help sanitize. The whole advertising space.
Thank you for that. I never thought about greening our advertising space, and as you're talking about the filthiness, now I see what the cluster of billboards are on my street, and the church ones are huge. Like,
in fact, from that same advertising,
it shocked me.
The biggest spenders were churches.
Eesh.
Yeah, the biggest spenders were churches, and I have my own personal conviction on that.
You wanna cop out?
No, I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. Okay, so I want to ask. These are our last questions of the day, and you've talked a lot about the importance of mentorship. So let's delve in a little bit into that before we let you go. You talked about the importance of mentorship to you, and I'm sure it is one of your top priorities as a CEO. So what conditions would you say must the firm satisfy to join? First of all, the association, and also to be involved in mentorship, as a leader, what benefits come, with that.
But with what, the association?
With being a member of the association,
yes.
First of all, and let's also talk about mentorship.
Yeah. Okay. So there's, the rules of the association is pretty simple. You want to join us, you fill an application form.
Okay.
And you need to. It goes with with either a CV and why you want it. This a proposition you need to make to the association.
Where do we send it to?
To the AAG head office is on the Ring Road.
Okay.
Opposite APSA on the Ring Road.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where our headquarters. So you send it out there, and then the council will evaluate it, new membership, and then we'll take you through. Of course, you have the code of conduct and XYZ, and there's a lot more that we want to bring to bear so that members can feel the full benefit of being part of the association. So that is ongoing. There's a lot of work to do.
Okay.
But we've done amazing well over the years, to get us here. But there's still a lot of work to do. But it is. So we have the Aag Institute, where young practitioners are brought together and then they're actually trained.
Okay, so young practitioners are brought in and trained.
Yeah, and trained.
Okay. That's mentorship right there.
Yeah, that's mentorship. So you're trained from creative to media to
Lovely.
PR to whatever. And it's a constant, so it's an institution. In fact, we're actually trying to make it a permanent part of us. So first you collect people and you collect members, and then they do the lecturing. But now we want to make it an institute, like a school. Professor Henson is helping us to establish that, and we're trying to also close an affiliation deal with the AAA of South Africa, an amazing advertising institute, so that we can build this and nurture a lot more practitioners.
Okay, lovely. And my final question to you today is, in your opinion, what would you say are the key elements that contribute to the growth and success of any firm? What are the key elements that contribute to the growth and success of any firm? I feel like the whole interview you've had so far, you've dropped a lot of keys. So this is kind of like when we say firm, let's also think about the individual as a firm in him or herself.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Key elements of growth.
Yeah, I think something should get you angry before you decide to do anything.
Okay.
Something should
get you angry.
Yeah, something should.
So if nothing gets you angry,
then what are you fighting for? I mean, something must get you angry because there's something that you need. You see.
Okay.
I was listening to while I was coming. There's a song that Manifest is on there, and he says that without foolish people, you wouldn't know wisdom, right? So that's more like it's something. Something must happen. We're all here to make.
You up.
Yeah, we're all here to make the world a better place. We're here to, to do our bit before we leave. So something should always nudge you and push you on to do good, right? And for me, that pain of you not having that thing at that moment should be able to spur you on. So if I say something you need to determine what do you want. What do you want as a person? What do you want as a company? What do you want next, right? And once you're able to determine that, now you go ahead and pursue relentlessly to achieve that. And that in itself is what the journey is about.
Okay.
It's the beauty of the journey. It's not giving tips to say that it's easy. You go in there, you fight here, you do karate here, you do judo here, and you're going to win. It's the journey, right? No one can really tell you about war until you're actually there.
All things are not always equal.
They are not equal. So whatever I say, whatever anyone says, whatever your mentors say, is to serve as guideline. But you have to walk through that fire, right? Even the Bible says that if you walk on serpents and you will not be bitten. But at least you have to walk on the serpents first, right? And then let it be proven that you will not be bitten. So you have to go in there and you have to learn and run through that fire and that pain, but at least you have the guidelines. So whenever there are issues, you can come back to a guideline and say, hey, what happened in chapter 6? You can go there and check all the facts and say, so I need to make some adjustment, but I'm still going to go through that fire until you come out of the furnace and you're burnt brick. Solid to resist, all the elements of the weather.
Yeah, I hear that. Powerful. Oh my goodness, this has been a blessing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before I let you go, are there any final words you have to the young and young at heart of YFM who are doing the listening?
So I'll break this down.
Yeah.
And I want young people to. I think I'm young. When I say young,
of course.
I'm young. I want our generation, young and fly, to begin to think this way, right? We need to have the right attitude to work. And I keep breaking it down to people, right? You need to understand your role in the business. You need to understand the role that politics play. You need to learn and appreciate what it is, right? Somebody spent his money to invest in a company to make profit. It is not your business to determine whether the person makes profit or not.
Fact.
Right? So allow people to make their profit and enjoy. Without them, you don't even have a job. So don't go fighting fights that you don't have, right? But guess what? If you work as hard, you can make claim for value, like increasing salary. I want more bonus, because you're creating value. Once you know your place, because one day you would also become an investor and an owner. What did I tell you about paying your dues? You need to learn to pay your dues and do the things that you have to do and allow the process to go by. And while you're going through the process, you will learn, and tomorrow you will also know how to be an entrepreneur. But a lot of people have a lot of demands. The demands hanging in the air that you can't put value on, right? If your demand is hanging in the air.
Insecurities, drawn from insecurities, or just natural human behavior.
It's quite an interesting paradigm, right? A lot of people say this generation, they want quick fix and all of that. I think they're amazing. I mean, I work with some of them. To be honest, they're the nerve center of our business now. I mean, the young talent coming through, if you give them space to grow, they grow. So I like their determination. I like their attitude. I don't think that they need quick fixes. I think that we need a lot. We need to do a lot to give them the confidence of where we're going, because we ourselves haven't done that much. So they look back and be like, what have you guys done that, I really, but I want to. So for me, the first thing is that you need to appreciate how they dream. They dream big, they want to be big. But unfortunately, they think that being big means that I need to rise quickly and be there,
without the process.
Without the process. So if it took me 16 years, yours might be 12 years, but you still have to go through the 12 years, right? You can't make it in 2 years. It's not possible. You can't grow your character in 2 years. If it's taking 16 years for somebody to build his character, if it's taking 25 years for somebody to build his character, you can't use 2 years. So still go through the mill. Yours will not be 22 years, it might be 8 years or 6 years, but you still have to make the time in prison, right? You still have to go through the time. So enjoy.
Do your time.
So enjoy
the pain and the anger is what should, you know, you wake up and it's painful. Like those are when I sit in Trotro. Charlie, the fight I've done in Circle, and then at Tantra Hill, I stay with my sister. The fights I've done at Tantra Hill Junction, and then Circle, the Trotro fight, and 37, man, because it was spurring me on, because you know what, I have to go home.
I'm gonna end this.
And even when I get there, I need to walk home. Like, you know, because my salary was 200 Ghana cedis, you know, but I'm still grinding. But the thing is that the pain and what you go through tomorrow will yield to higher value. And once you enjoy the value, please don't settle. Look for the next thing. Once you get it, look for the next thing. Never settle on your achievement. Keep pushing. Trust me, it would come to pass, and the dreams will come to pass. So keep pursuing. Be relentless. Be relentless and keep doing what you do. Right? And it will be all right.
Powerful. Hey Charlie, I've had the best morning/afternoon today, honestly. Andrew, thank you so much. Akosua has sitting here today is blessed. She's telling you this with her mouth, so thank you so much.
Did that make sense?
Hey, too much. Like you showed me the keys. you broke my imagination. Like I'm gonna stay at home like, oh my god. Yo, thank you. So obviously this is a testament to the growth of your character, the understanding of your character for yourself, and how it's been able to shine, and even for you to talk about it is we hear the time, we hear the process in what you're saying, which is what makes it more intense, not just a quick fix, do this, do that. You know, we hear it. We hear it. Exactly. Facts. No, it's just a quick fix for a bit.
Quick fix is the first can be
at all.
And the tongue advert job.
Oh man, thank you so much, and yes, we're blessed to have you, and we are definitely watching your space, and thank you for studying all of us in the media and our customers, and you know, and understanding what we need to advertise.
We didn't get any text messages.
Actually, there were lots of there were messages coming in on Twitter saying that they're really enjoying the show. No questions, but just they're really enjoying the questions, because how can they have questions? You said. You said everything. So yes, everyone says they're enjoying. They've learned a lot of things. So thank you so much.
Thank you
so much. Really a lot of tweets on social media, because obviously that's where we are now. On Twitter.
Great.
So yes.
So anytime you need me to come through, please. I mean, this is my home.
Yeah.
So you need me, I'll come by again.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys, you heard it.
Yeah.
Yep. All you have to do is demand it.
Yeah.
But I'm having you here again, definitely.
Anytime.
Awesome.
Because I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. So that's it for our Wide Leaderboard series for today. Today was actually longer than I've had it. You know, 30 minutes longer, because Charlie, it was just too much to stop.
Congratulations, you found the one station that plays Ghana's best urban music.
YFM.
The YFM 107.9 Accra, 102.5 Kumasi, and 97.9 at Takoradi.